Good afternoon, fellow viewers. Welcome back to Easy Mathematics. We thank God today is Monday. As we said, we were unable to upload Friday's video, so today we are doing it. And on our previous video, or during our previous video, we did mention of the next topic, which is integers. So today we want to talk about integers. One may ask, what is an integer? Or what are integers? Integers are positive and negative whole numbers. Positive and negative whole numbers. Only a whole number. So if I have 1/2, it is not an integer. If I have 2.6, it's not an integer. So an integer is a positive number or a negative whole number. So 2 is a whole number and that one is positive. 3 is a whole number, is positive. But if I have -6, -6 is also an integer. It is a whole number, but it is negative. So let's say if you have -2 it is not a whole number. Why? Because we are saying that integers are positive and negative whole number. So -6, -3, they are all whole numbers, but they are negative. So examples, we have -1 is a whole number, but a negative number. 8, positive. -5, 6, 10, -100, and so on and so forth. So any number, any whole number, not any number, any whole number that is negative or positive is being classified as an integer. Good. So we want to look at comparing and ordering of integers. When we say comparing and ordering of integers, we have to compare them. When it comes to the comparing, which one is greater than the other? Or which one is lesser than the other? That is the comparison of integers. But when it comes to the ordering of integers, we are going to talk about the ascending or the descending of integers. And in our previous topics, we were told that ascending simply means from the least to the highest, and descending also means from the highest to the lowest. So how can we compare integers, both positive and negative? Now, to compare integers, we have to consider the number line. So when you look here, we have our number line drawn, and the number line shows or indicates the positive numbers on our right hand side, then the negative numbers on our left hand side. If you consider the number line, we will be able to know which number is greater, which one is lesser, if there are negatives. So the number line has been arranged, or the numbers on the number line has been arranged according to their increasing order. So if you move from your left to right, that means you are increasing. But if you move from right to left, you are decreasing. So if you have this number line, moving from here shows increasing. So 0, if I move to here, it has increased. Therefore, 1 is greater than 0. 2 is greater than 1. 3 is greater than 2. And if 3 is greater than 2, it means 3 is greater than all the numbers here. So when it comes to the positive one, that one we have no confusion there. But the confusion comes in the negative. When you look at the negative side of the number line, if you move this way, you are decreasing. So if I move from -1 to 2, I have decreased. So it means -1 is greater than -2. Even 0, it is greater than -1. Why? Because if you move towards your left, you are decreasing. So 0 is greater than -1. -1 is greater than -2. -2 is greater than -3. -3 is also greater than -4. In that order. So that should even tell us that the next number, which will be 7, is less than negative 6. And negative 6 is greater than the rest of the numbers there. Negative 5 is also greater than the rest. 0 is greater than all the negative integers. 1 is greater than 0 and all negative integers. So how can we therefore compare if we now have the understanding on the number line? So what are we going to do? It says compare the following using greater than or less than. Now that we know that on the number line, numbers are being arranged in ascending order. That's from your left to your right, and descending order from the right to the left. We have to compare negative 5 and 0. Which of the two signs will qualify or will make this statement true? On the number line, we are saying that all the numbers this way are greater than the numbers here. So 0 is greater than all the numbers here. So if 0 is greater than all the numbers here, then it means this 5 is less than 0. So which of the sign qualifies this statement? I'm going to say the less than, because the less than is indicated with our left hand. So this is our left, greater than, and these are these are less than, and these are greater than sign. So because negative 5 is less than 0, we are going to indicate the less than sign. That is all about the comparison of integers. So you have negative 24 comparing to negative 23. And one thing that you should know is that the highest number with the negative sign is the least. The highest number with the negative sign is the least when it comes to the negative part. If you put this at the back of your mind, comparing integers will be easier for you. So any number with negative, the highest among them is the least. So negative 24, negative 23. The highest is 24. So because 24 is having negative in front of it, the negative makes the 24 the least, or the one which is less than the negative 23. So comparing this, I'm going to say negative 24 is less than negative 23. Always remember, the greater number with the negative sign is less. Then when you come to the number 3, we have negative 4 and 4. Positive and negative. It is obvious. You can't say that negative is greater than positive. Because when you look on the number line, we are saying that all these numbers here are greater than this sign. So if negative 4 is being compared to 4, we are going to say negative 4 is less than that. Okay, so let's look at the number 4. Negative 7 being compared to negative 22. Negative 7, we are comparing it to negative 22. Remember this, the number with the greatest number with the negative sign is the least. When we say greatest, the huge, the big number, the one with the negative sign, that is the least. So 7 and 22. 22 is the greatest number. But because 22 is having negative in front of it, it makes the 22 lesser than this. So we are going to say negative 7 is greater than negative 22. Because on your number line, this shows that this is bigger than this, bigger than that, bigger than that. So if 7 is coming, it means that 7 is far, far greater. Negative 7 is far, far greater than negative 22. Good. Then here, these are positive. 7, 12. Comparing 7 and 12 using the less than. We all know or will agree that 7 is less than 12. So we are going to use this sign. I hope in Form 1 you know the difference between less than and greater than. If you don't know, try and get the differences between them. Then when you come to the last one, negative 44 and 22. Negative 22. Negative 44, negative 22. 44 is the greater number or the bigger number. But because it is having negative, it makes the 44 less. So 44, negative 44 is less than negative 22. So that is all for the comparison. If you are able to understand or get the concept on the number line or based on the number line, comparison will be easier for us to compare. Now let's look at the next one, which is the ordering. And when it comes to the ordering, we can be asked to order in ascending and descending. And we know that ascending is from the least to the highest, like you are climbing. So on the number line, they've arranged it in ascending order. That is from your left to the right, is ascending order. Then from the right to the left is descending. You are up, coming down. So let's look at how to ascend integers. Ascend integers. So it says ascending the following integers, or ascend the following integers. We have 0, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2, negative 4. So because we are ascending, we have to look at the number that is least. We have to ascend 0, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2, and negative 4. We have to ascend. And ascend simply means from the least to the highest. So if you are ascending and it is involving negative, let the negative go last, because that is the least among the positives. So if you look at this one, I have 0, 1, 2. Let's do with the positive first, because the positive is greater than that. But we are doing what? Ascending. The smallest to come first. So the smallest among all is the negative 4. Because on the number line, negative 4 comes first here. So this is less or lesser than the rest. So I'm going to say in ascending order, negative 4 will come, followed by negative 2, followed by negative 1, followed by 0, 1, then I'll move to 2. So when you picture this on the number line, you get to know that 4 comes, followed by this, followed by that, in that order. And this is ascending order of integers. The least should come first, then the greatest should be at the rear. Number 2, we are also ascending. Ascending. So the negatives are lesser than the positives. So the negatives should come first before the positives. But the negative, the number that is greater, having a negative, is the least. So when I look at my negative numbers, negative 1, negative 15, negative 35, the 35 is the greatest, having negative. So the least among them is negative 35, followed by negative 15. Then that gives me negative 1. So after dealing with the positive negatives, then we consider the positive numbers. So now I have 9 and 5. 9 and 5, which one is less? It's 5. So the 5 will come, then finally the 9. And this is the ascending order of integers. Let's look at the last one of ascending order of integers. I'm building on the negative because we know how to order positive numbers. If I ask you 1,005, which one is less? You can tell me that 5 is less. But with the negative, it is quite confusing. So if you look at this one, we have negative 1, negative 7, negative 9, negative 8, negative 10, and negative 5. We are to order in ascending. So since they are all negative, which one is the least? The least is the greatest number having the negative sign. So the greatest number having the negative sign is 10. So because the 10 is having negative in front, it makes the 10 least among all. In our local dialect, we say, so because it is the least integer, it will come first because we are doing ascending order. So followed by negative 9, followed by negative 8, followed by negative 7, gives me negative 5, and finally negative 1. So in ascending order, 1 is greater than all the numbers here. Sorry, negative 1 is greater than all the numbers here. Negative 5 is also greater than the rest. So in ascending order of magnitude, give us this arrangement. So that is all for the ascending. But when it is descending, then it means the highest is supposed to come first. So this is ascending, and that is the comparison of integers. Now let's look at the operations of integers. When we say operations, that is the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So how can I therefore perform the addition and subtraction of integers? Remember, integers are positive and negative whole numbers. So here, you can come across a negative number and a positive number. But what are we doing? We are adding or we are subtracting. So the first one, 4 plus 9. Both integers are positive. So I have 4, I'm to add 9 to it. What am I going to get? I'm going to have or get 13. So is it 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? You can put them together in that way. Number 2, you have negative 8 plus 16. Now we are adding, but one of the integer is negative. So what do I do? Anytime you add an integer or subtract an integer and you have a negative in front, assume you are owing. So this negative 8, I am owing. And this positive 16, it belongs to me. So negative 8, I owe. Then 16, you own. So if you are owing 8 cedis and you have 16 cedis, if you pay the 16 cedis, you are left with how much? 8 cedis. That 8 cedis, because it belongs to me, I won't write negative 8. But therefore, I'm going to write positive 8. But just that we don't write the plus. Number 3. 16 plus 12. Sorry, 16 plus 2 is what? 16. Add 2 to it. And that's going to give us 18. So with the addition and subtraction of integers, I think it is very, very easy for us to do that. Now, when you come to the number 4, you have negative 12 plus negative 3. Remember what I told you. You owe, you owe. If it is negative, you are owing. So here, I owe 12 cedis somewhere, and I'm owing another 3 cedis somewhere. If I put this amount of owings together, how much will I owe? I will owe 15. So because I will still owe, this answer becomes negative 15. I owe 12 cedis because of the negative sign. I owe 3 cedis because of the negative sign. So if there is a negative in front of a number and you are adding or subtracting, use this principle. I owe negative. So if I owe 12, I owe 3. In all, how much are you owing? You are owing 15. So because you are owing, you are going to say negative 15. Now let's look at the number 5. You have 2 minus negative 10. 2 minus negative 10. What do I have to do? If negative and if 2 negative meets or collides, it becomes positive. So negative times negative becomes positive, which will give us 12 as our final answer. When these two signs meet, when we get to the multiplication, it will be explained further. So when these two signs meet, it gives you positive because they are multiplying. Negative times negative is positive. Then number 6, 13 minus 3 is 10. Then negative 4, negative 5. You owe 4. You owe another 5. Put these two together. Negative 4, negative 5. Since I am owing, what am I going to do? I'm going to put them together, and this is going to give me negative 9. In all, you are owing negative 9. Then number 8, you have 7 plus 2. 7 minus 2. Sorry. When you look at the 7, there is no sign here. It means it is plus. But just as I told you here, we don't write. Because if you are saying 1, 2, you don't say plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. No, we omit the positive sign. But if it is negative, we don't omit it. So I have 7 and I owe 9. If I pay the 7 that I'm having, I'll still owe again. But this time I'm going to owe 2. So because I am owing, I'm going to say negative 2. Always remember, if there is a sign, if a negative sign is in front of the number, it means you are owing. So I owe 9, I have 7. If I pay, I'll still owe, which is negative 2. Now when you come to the number 10, it is quite complicated because you have different signs. You just take your time and analyze what to do. So I have negative, negative. You were told that if 2 negative meets, it changes to to addition. So I'm going to say negative 4. Negative becomes positive 4 here. And have negative 9, negative 1. Then you do the calculation. Negative 4 plus 4. Negative, what does it mean? I'm owing. Positive, what does it mean? It is for me. So if I owe 4 and I pay 4, that means I'm having 0. I have nothing to pay. And I have nothing left. So this is going to cancel out, or it's going to give me 0. Then now I have negative 9 minus 1. After owing and paying, you find out that you are still owing 9 cedis somewhere, and you are still owing 1 cedi somewhere. In all, you are going to owe negative 10. So when it comes to this one, that is what we are supposed to do. Then the last one, we have 3 plus 4. Negative and positive, when they meet, is going to give us negative 8. Then negative, positive, when it meets, going to give us negative 2. So here, 3 plus 4, positive, positive. So it's going to give me 7. So this plus this is 7. Minus 2 is going to give me what? Negative, minus 8 is going to give me negative 1. Then minus another 2 is going to give me negative 3. Sorry for making this place this thing. So that is the addition and subtraction of integers. Now let's look at the last part, which is multiplication and division of integers. Now with the multiplication, we have to note certain things. When it comes to the multiplication of integers, we have negative times negative giving us positive. Negative times positive giving us negative. And also positive times positive is positive. So if I bring the negative here, positive here, and take the negative here, it's also the same thing. That is for the multiplication. When it comes to the division, to the same thing. Negative divided by negative is equal to positive. Negative divided by positive is equal to negative. And positive divided by positive is positive. So if we are able to understand this, in multiplication and division, we won't suffer. So let's take the first question. Negative 2 times negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3. Because this is negative, our answer becomes positive here. So we just multiply 2 times 3, which is 6. So this gives us positive 6, but we just don't write the positive. We just write 6. But there is positive there. Okay, so negative times negative gives us positive, which is unwritten. Then number 2, there is no sign here. There is no negative, so it means this is positive 3. So 3 times negative 5. We were told up there that negative times positive is negative. The same thing, positive times negative is negative. So if this is positive, this positive times this negative will give me negative. So 3 times 5 is 15. And this gives me an answer of negative 15. Now when you come to the number 3, anytime you see bracket, it means you have to multiply the inner by the outer. So since both are inner, we are just going to multiply this times this. So negative times negative is positive. And 3 times 4 is going to give me 12. So because negative times negative is positive, the positive sign is unwritten, just as we were told. Then let's look at the last side. We have negative 4 times negative 3 times negative 2 times negative 5. So somebody might choose to multiply it by putting 2 into bracket. So negative 8 times negative 3 times negative 2 times negative 5. So let's say I want to multiply this times this. So negative 8, negative times negative is positive. So 8 times 3 is 24. Times negative 2 times negative 5. Negative times negative is positive. So 2 times 5 is 10. Now I have positive here, I have positive here. Positive times positive is positive. So 24 times 10 is going to give us 240. As easy as ABC. When you come to the number 5, we have negative 10 times negative 5. Negative times negative is positive. So this will give me 50. Times negative 2 times negative 3 will give me 6. Why? Because negative times negative is positive. Then you just multiply 50 by 6. And 50 times 6 is going to give us 300. Because 6, 5 is 30. Then you come to the next one, which is division. 45 divided by negative 5 can be written as 45 over negative 5. You just do your division and check if the numerator can divide the denominator or if the denominator can divide the numerator. So looking at this, we are told that negative divided by positive is negative, and also positive divided by negative is the same as negative. So the sign here is positive. So if positive is being divided by negative, you are going to get a negative answer. So how many times will 5 go into 45? You are going to say 5 here 1, 5 here 9. So our answer becomes negative 9. That is the rule. And if you do this, we are correct. When you come to the number 7, You have numerator as negative 60 over this. And this is the same as negative 2 times negative 3. If negative multiplies negative, what are we going to get? Positive. So this is going to be negative 60 all over positive 6. Then you do your cancellation. This time, negative divided by positive. We were told that if this thing happens, it is negative. So 6 will go into itself 1. 6 will go into 60 10 times. So our answer becomes negative 10 as our answer. Then when you come to the number 8, you solve your numerator different, your denominator different to arrive at a single digit. So this is going to give me negative 4. We were told that negative, when they meet, is going to give us positive. When negative and positive meet, it's going to give us negative. When negative meets, is positive. So positive 6. And when positive and negative meet, it's going to give us negative. So this all over. Now I have 9 minus 3. 9 minus 3 is going to give me 6. When positive and negative meet, it's going to give us negative 2. So let's do the simplification. Negative 4, I owe, plus 6, I have. So if I pay, this is going to give me negative 2. Because if I pay my 6, I'll still owe. So if this gives me negative 2, now I'm going to say negative 2 minus 7 is going to give us what? Minus 5 is going to give me what? Negative, if we have positive 6, then negative 4. If we pay, it means we are not going to owe. Sorry for that. So because we are not going to owe, it's going to be what? Positive. So positive 2 minus 5. I owe 5. I have 2. So this is going to give me negative 3 for the numerator. Then when you come here, 6 minus 2 is going to give me 4. So solving for everything, we are going to have negative 3 over 4 as our final answer. So this is it for integers. Comparison and addition, multiplication and division of integers. Thank you for staying tuned. God bless you, and please don't forget to subscribe. I know with your support, this thing will help many people in the country and if possible, worldwide. Thank you for staying tuned, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscription button for more notifications.